Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation series. I am blessed today to have Annie O'Donnell here with us. Sweet OD is here, and I'm going to let her introduce herself, and we're going to get into this.
Well, thank you for that lovely introduction. But my name's Annie. You can call me Annie OD. Sweet Annie OD is all my handles on social media. I respond to anything, even the typical straight up Sweet Annie I've heard. But I am a sports content creator, host, analyst, throw all those words in there. I'm based in Southern California, big love of Southern California sports teams, but been a sports fan all my life and have, I would say, pretty recently have turned it pretty much into a career at this point. And that's pretty much me. I don't know what I feel like so weird when like I'm told what I say. All right, let me say a little bit more. Okay, I'm a Capricorn. I'm very proud. I've got my little seagull on right there.
Fine.
What's your sign?
I'm a Pisces.
Ooh, love it. So did you just have a birthday?
I did, March 7th.
Oh, happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Let's see what else. We were talking Disney before this. My favorite Disney villain is Hades. One of my favorite Disney movie probably. I know it hasn't aged well, but I grew up loving Pocahontas, and music from that movie is one of my favorites. So, but I also grew up, honestly, two of my first Halloween costumes were Pocahontas and Esmeralda from Hunchback. So I know, literally, I know. I was like, you know what? Badass women. I'm all for it. I knew from a young age I was drawn to the strong female character.
Yes. Love it. Absolutely love it. And your content is so refreshing. It's so awesome because not only do you do trades and you do all of the news, but you also shine a very bright light on women being in the sports world, which massive applause to you. And I thank you so much for that, because that is like one of my biggest like passions. And like growing up being a sports fan, much like yourself, I'm like, I think there just needs to be more. So I'm a huge benefactor of every female being in the sports industry if she wants to.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I try to be, honestly, you know, as women, like just not even in the sports world, but in general, like we get enough flack as it is, and it's just amplified even more. And you don't even have to be working in sports to receive that flack. It's even more as a fan. And you know, it's just, I'm tired of it. It really, growing up with it, it was even worse. It's better now. I think now that more men are realizing that, you know, they need to be part of it and speak up and stand up, because we can't do it by ourselves. But I think it's also a big kind of, what's the word for it? I think it's also women recognizing, and more women recognizing that, hey, recognize our own internalized misogyny here and there and how we're contributing to it, and saying, hey, we got to stick together. We can't get through this. Like, it's not cute being a pick-me girl.
No,
like,
it is not. No, but I want to start in the very beginning for you. Like, you grew up as a sports fan. Where did you start? Were you a football fan in the beginning? Where did you play sports? How did it kind of start for you?
So I grew up in a huge hockey family. My dad is from New York and grew up loving the beautiful game. I'm one of 5 kids, 4 brothers and little old me. So he put all of us on skates when we were the ripe age of, 18 months, 2 years old. So right when we could walk, basically. So hockey's just been in around my life for as long as I can remember. So that was probably my first love. And then gradually, as more sports got introduced and I started watching more, my next love, and my very passionate love, is the Los Angeles Dodgers. My dad grew up a huge Dodgers fan, being from New York when the Brooklyn Dodgers were there. So being in Southern California now, and with Dodger Stadium a mere hour and a half with no traffic, but average of 2 hours away. Pretty easy to get up to games every now and then growing up. So became a huge Dodgers fan. And then just being a kid in Southern California, growing up in the 90s, 2000s, Kobe and Shaq. So the Lakers were the team to watch.
Yeah.
And then football, funny enough, my dad went to Notre Dame. So we're a big Fighting Irish family. So when it comes to college sports, it's all Notre Dame or nothing. I didn't go to Notre Dame, but I still love all their sports.
I'm in the same type of household.
But and for as far as I would say my NFL love came a little later. I growing up in San Diego. The Chargers were here, and I would get into it. I got into it more in high school, and it was just miserable. Like being a Chargers fan was just miserable at that point in time. And then I went to college in Pittsburgh, and obviously that's a huge football town. Really kind of harnessed it a little bit more in college. And I don't know if maybe I won't, that's a long kind of, no, I'll talk about it. I'm like going, maybe we'll go through the story. So and then first in college started playing like fantasy football a little bit, and I enjoyed it, and I found I was like learning more about the game. And then I moved to Chicago, and the Chargers ended up leaving San Diego for Los Angeles, and I was like, I'm over this, I'm done. Like the Chargers, like I'm not following them. Meanwhile, yes, I do root for 2 other LA sports teams, but that's not the point here. So I was a free agent fan for the longest time, and would play fantasy and just really watched as a non-biased fan. And to be honest, it made me love the game and like really understand it a little bit more because I didn't have that fan connection to it. There wasn't an emotional attachment. But as I started launching into this content creation space and doing a podcast and things like that, a good friend of mine who's a fantasy football analyst shot me a message and said, yo, this free agent fan thing, we're not going to do that. Let's pick you a team. So we went through this whole game of all NFL teams, and we narrowed it down to 2. And funny enough, one, just playing fantasy football, obviously you have your favorites. And one guy that I absolutely adored, or still adore, of course, is Lamar Jackson. So I ended up with the Baltimore Ravens as my team, which kind of fits because living in Pittsburgh for 4 years, I despise Pittsburgh sports now. So I was like, I need to have one team that's a rival. I need to have one in my docket right there. So that's I'm a part of the Ravens flock for that reason. And but that's just growing up a lifelong sports fan. I knew I always wanted to be in sports. I just didn't know in what capacity. And it's been quite a journey figuring that out. I majored in sports marketing, thinking I wanted to go in and work for a team, but I did internships with the Kings, with the Penguins, and I learned that wasn't really what I wanted to do. I didn't like the idea of working for a team, mainly because you had to work on game nights so you couldn't watch the game. So
takes fun out of everything.
Literally. And like, I just felt like there was this, and with all due respect to anyone, I've got great friends that work for teams. I just feel like there was this, it wasn't cool to show that you were a sports fan. It wasn't cool to get excited about things. And to me, that's everything I'm about. Like, I'm not crazy. I'm not fangirl, but I embrace my passion. I embrace the excitement I get around my team. So it was hard there when I was like, why is it like this is dumb. So and then I graduated. I was looking for a job, and one thing about sports, I'm sure people that listen to your show know, is you don't make a ton of money. The athletes do. The people that work in sports don't. So I was like, well, I don't want to live at home. I don't want to make no money. Like, I want to be able to live. And when you're starting out in sports, you kind of have to pick your poison there. So I moved to Chicago. I got an inside sales job just at a company, and it was fun. Living in Chicago for 2 years was an absolute blast. And then I got promoted, moved to New York, and it was not a good situation job wise. And I all the while I knew I wanted to work in sports. I knew sports was there for me, and that job ended up ending, and what was that, summer 2019, so just a little bit before COVID. And all the while I was in New York, podcasts had been kind of blowing up at that time, and I was thinking to myself, I said, I could do this. And I remember when I was looking for a job, one of my friends asked me, she said, well, what's one thing you would do if money didn't, money aside, anything aside, if you could pick one thing to do, what would you do? I was like, talk sports. It's my favorite thing to do. And she said, Annie, people get paid to do that. Why? What's stopping you? Meanwhile, there's 4 years of experience, bachelor's degree in journalism, which I didn't have. And which I could rant about that forever. But it kind of came time in the fall of 2019. It was in that moment, you kind of get to that moment where I literally, because I think a big part that was holding me back for a while for starting a podcast was just what people thought of me. It was November of 2019 where I said, F it at that point. I said, what do you have to lose? Nothing at this point. You had no job, nothing, things were not looking up for me at that point. So I said, why not? Why not? So I launched my podcast, OD on Sports, November 2019, and really stepped into the world of content creation. And from there, it's been about it'll be 2.5 years in May, and we've been going up since.
See, when they announced MLB was coming back out, you're Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever to make an announcement. I was like, this is fabulous.
I saved that sound thinking it would come in use, and I wasn't sure when. And then the idea came to me. I was like, oh, I got to do this.
Oh,
I got to do this. And if it goes viral, it goes viral. If it doesn't, I don't care. I loved it. It was such a blast filming it too. And funny thing is, I thought I had apples, but I feel like the apple really completes it. Because I love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Love them. Yeah. So I was like, no, I need the apple. Barbosa needs his apple at the very end. It just makes it. Yeah. So I had to run out to the store mid filming and get them, but we got it done. But that was a hit. That a lot of people like that one, which that's why I do it. I was like, if that's the fun thing about content is, absolutely, you make things that you like, and if people don't like them or it doesn't do well, who gives a fuck? Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, absolutely. Stanley Cup final predictions. Who are the two teams you think? You don't have to say it from my feelings. You can be honest and who you've been seeing. We're going to manifest this right now because I like the energy that this is holding.
I feel like it would be a very likable Stanley Cup final too.
I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad.
It wouldn't be. I mean, you got Minnesota, people from Minnesota that would absolutely be ecstatic about seeing their team in a cup final. Marc-Andre Fleury now in net for them. And then the Carolina Hurricanes, which I feel like a lot of people have really adopted them as their second team or team that they want to see do well. Yep. And I mean, who doesn't love Rob Brind'Amour either? So
favorite all-time player. I
love it.
I
also have a soft spot in my heart for Jordan Staal. So I would like to see him win another cup again.
Yeah. I love me some Jordo. It's fun. It's fun that I can now, growing up with this team, being older now and actually having an appreciation for it. I'm like, okay, here we go. I am die hard, and I'm like, welcome all the bandwagoners. Please come in.
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing that gets me about sports fans is so many of them just gatekeep their team like no other. Meanwhile, I'm like, you want to cheer? Let's go. Come on.
Yeah.
Pop a seat here. Let me talk about how horrible this team was a few years ago. But that's the thing I really hate is and you see it's so prevalent with Dodger fans, so bad, especially after they won the World Series. And now where people are like, oh, if you weren't with this team then, you can't get excited about Freddie Freeman being signed. I'm like, oh, fuck, what's wrong with you? Go touch grass, go for a walk, like get off your computer. It does not impact your experience as a fan. Like, why people think that because, you know, the phrase I like to use is like your parents put you in a onesie when you were 6 months old and now you think you run the team and the fan base. Like, get out of here. But it just, especially, I feel like hockey fans too are just so protective, overly protective of their sport though. It's like ESPN doesn't care about hockey. Meanwhile, ESPN now carries hockey and they're like, no, you don't know hockey. Let's just it's so annoying. You can never make anybody happy at this. Or, you know, even with the Leafs new jerseys that they released, people like, grow the game, you know, reach new audiences, just a collab with Justin Bieber, one of the most popular artists in the world. And people are like, no, not like that. No, don't do that. And it's just,
it's exhausting.
It's exhausting. You can never satisfy these old heads. You can never satisfy these good old game guys, as I call them. It just, you know, the league they're trying. They don't get everything right. Of course, there's a lot that this league needs to do to fix itself. But they're trying. Honestly, this collaboration I thought was so well done and a genius idea.
Yeah.
And they're trying. I've worked with the NHL on a campaign before. Yeah. And you can definitely, they know the players that they want to market. And absolutely. Another thing, tying it back to the point, like being a lifelong Ducks fan where not a lot of people here like hockey, I love seeing people watch the Ducks. I love seeing people get invested in this team. And that's why people are like, oh no, do you like the Ducks or do you like Zegras? I'm 10 years older than Trevor. I'm almost 10 years older than Trevor Zegras. No, I was watching hockey when Trevor Zegras wasn't even born yet. Let's calm down here. But it's just, and listen, if they want to come because they like Zegras, if they want to come because they like the movies, I don't care. As long as you're here and you want the team to win, I will welcome you. And I'd love to have a beer with you. So it's
simple, to the point.
That's my rant there. I don't like gatekeeping. I don't like people. I think sports are for everyone. I think sports should be welcoming to everyone, no matter race, gender, you know, economic status. I think that's one of the best things about it is you can find something in common with people that you may not have anything in common with at all. And the fact that people try to put a barrier to entry to sports, I think is just ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. Could not agree with you more. I have problems when people are like, oh, we should trade them. I'm like, okay, pull back a little bit. Pull back until you've actually been watching this team for a little bit and you've seen what they've been through.
Exactly. I mean, some people just open their mouths and they just don't know. And you know, and in that instance, it's kind of like, all right, let's calm down here. Like when people try to
eat your popcorn, drink your beer.
Exactly. Like some people just shout things. I'm like, be quiet.
Really? Okay.
Like, yeah, you're allowed to be here, but be quiet. Like any disrespect to Ryan Getzlaf, I don't tolerate. Any disrespect to John Gibson, I don't tolerate. And I'm of the belief, and it's very hard because a lot of people didn't play hockey or grow up around it. And I'm of the belief that you can tell a lot about a hockey fan by the way they talk about their goaltender and the goaltending position, because I think there's just a lot to understand about it. But it's not that complicated either. Once you kind of sit down and, you know, watch the game, especially kind of trying to view things for the whole picture from the goal, how it gets from the other side of the ice to the goal in the net, you understand that half the things you probably blamed the goalie for in the past, not their fault.
Not their fault at all. It did not happen because of them.
Right. Or like, I'm of the belief, like, and I will go to my grave saying this, and if anyone takes anything from me being on this podcast, on this show, excuse me, I want you to know that wins are not a quarterback or a goalie stat. They are a team stat.
Thank you.
So
thank you. I think Matthew Stafford's wife actually said it, Kelly. She was like, I don't understand why it's quarterback that holds the Super Bowl winning quarterback or you know what I mean? Or the most winning quarter. She's like, I don't understand that. She's like, it should be the whole team that was a part of it, not just the quarterback.
Right. It's a team stat. And that's why anytime someone brings up a win, which granted, yes, win milestones are cool for like goaltenders, but it doesn't tell the whole picture. That's a team stat. And I don't think team stats should come into play when determining individual awards. And last season I thought Semyon Varlamov was gypped of a Vezina nomination because he was top 2 in most categories. Yeah. And the only category he wasn't a leader in was wins. Yeah. And that's what knocked him out, basically. And I was like, so dumb. And people like to reference wins. Oh, he's this record. I'm like, bite me. Yeah. I know you're not worth talking to at that point in time.
If you do not follow Annie, please go follow her. All of her socials will be linked down below. Go check out OD on Sports. Do you have new episodes coming? Hopefully.
Tomorrow. So it's been a journey. Like, as far as, that's the other thing with, I know we didn't talk too much about, we talked more sports, which I love, but like trying to figure out this new world I'm in with content creation and still wanting to put out episodes and things like that. It's been such a challenge, but I truly do miss it. And I miss, just ranting to my microphone, which is where, this was all where I'm at now was all born. And it was my first step into putting myself out there on social media. But yes, new episode is coming out tomorrow morning, which I'm so excited about. I've missed it so much. And I keep telling myself, like, before, I was like, okay, I'll do it now. And then things come up but you have to take the time for the things you want to do. So yes, new episodes will be returning.
I'll link it down below, and I'll link OD on Sports so you guys could go listen.
Beautiful.
Love it. I cannot wait to listen. I'm excited for this year to see all your content. We're going to manifest some things. Dodgers are going to have a great season.
Absolutely. World Series, baby. World Series. I knew you weren't going to say it, but I was going to say it.
And we'll see what happens in Stanley Cup here soon. I'm excited. It's like a month left, and now we're getting to like, okay, hockey is
it's the nitty gritty. It's getting down to it now. And the funny thing about it is I miss my team being in the playoffs so much, like so much. But it is fun being a bystander and actually enjoying the hockey. Like when a game goes into double overtime, I'm like, yeah, more hockey. I'm not wanting to throw myself out my window like any fan of the team that's watching is.
I'm shootouts. I'm pacing back and forth. I can't control myself. I'm like, all right, guys. Oh, yeah. I need us to do something here.
And that's the best part about being a sports fan. It's those like natural emotions that, that just come out. And it's cool. I heard something, I think it was from Big Cat. I saw a video, but he said it's cool to care about something. It's cool to be invested in something. And I absolutely love that. And it's true. And that's one of the best parts about being in sports. People are like, oh, why do you care? It's just a team. It's just a game. People that care about sports team, all this. I'm like, people need something to believe in. People need something to get excited and be happy about, especially in today's age. So I love it. I love those natural emotions and the things we do for our teams that make us think that we're helping when we're, all we're doing is changing our shirt. All we're doing is sitting in the same spot on the couch.
Yeah. I love it. Absolutely love it. Love being a sports fan. It's the best thing in the world.
Absolute best and the worst thing, but we love it.
Yes, agree. Totally agree. Annie, thank you again. I appreciate it so much. I had a blast. Of course. And you guys, as always, I will see you guys back here next time. Bye, y'all.